Digital identity is the latest blockchain buzz. But are we solving anything or just flexing new tech? From Worldcoin to Estonia's ID magic, we're sorting facts from bullshit. But before we dive in, we found that 60% of you aren't following us yet. Please do us a huge favor, hit that follow button, and collect our episodes on pods.media. Your support means a lot. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so thinking about the material you shared with us, you're likely familiar with the frustration, right? Having a dozen different logins for every online service.
Absolutely, it's exhausting.
It's this fragmented digital existence, this constant need to prove who you are in multiple places that we're diving into today.
Yeah.
And the central question we're tackling, based on your reading, is blockchain a real solution for this digital identity headache, or is it just, the latest hype cycle?
That's the core of it, isn't it?
Our goal in this deep dive is to unpack the real potential, the genuine challenges, and maybe even consider if there's a need to completely rethink the approach to blockchain-based digital identity.
We've looked at discussions and real-world examples, and we're ready to get into it.
It's definitely a complex landscape. For you, navigating this world likely involves juggling numerous accounts and trying somehow to keep your personal information secure across all these different platforms.
Right.
The fundamental aim of these blockchain-based digital identity solutions you've been exploring is really to shift that paradigm.
Shift how?
Well, instead of relying on centralized entities, companies, governments to verify who you are, the idea is to empower you with greater control over your personal data.
Oh.
And this control, at least in theory, leads to enhanced privacy and better security.
Okay, let's unpack this for you listening. So instead of some big company or a government holding all the keys to my digital self, the blockchain kind of puts me in the driver's seat.
That's the promise.
That sounds pretty appealing, especially given, the constant news about data breaches.
Precisely. And you're seeing this idea manifest in some interesting ways already. Consider the Ethereum name service, ENS.
ENS, right. Heard of it.
You know how those long, complicated strings of letters and numbers represent Ethereum addresses? Super unwieldy.
Yeah, impossible to remember.
Well, ENS lets you link a human-readable name, like your name.eth, to your crypto wallet. So for you, this simplifies interactions within the Ethereum ecosystem quite a bit.
Makes sense.
Makes it much more user-friendly than dealing with those complex addresses directly. Think of it like creating a memorable nickname for your digital wallet.
That makes sense for you if you're active in the crypto space.
Definitely.
But why should you, the listener, even if you're not heavily involved in crypto, pay attention to this whole blockchain identity discussion?
Right.
What's the real-world relevance for your everyday life beyond just simplifying crypto transactions?
That's a crucial question for you. Let's connect it back to those frustrations you experience with your data every day. Think about the sheer volume of your personal information stored by, countless organizations.
Too many.
These traditional centralized systems are just inherently vulnerable to data breaches. We see it all the time. And often, you have very little say in how that data is actually used.
True.
The potential of blockchain-based identity lies in reversing that power dynamic.
Yeah.
Imagine a system where you control who gets access to verified aspects of your identity, when, and why.
Okay.
This decentralization could significantly reduce fraud across various sectors that impact you directly. Think finance, healthcare, even government services.
So fewer hoops to jump through when I need to prove who I am, maybe, and more confidence that my sensitive information isn't just floating around waiting to be compromised.
That's the goal. That sounds like a real improvement, right?
Yeah, it does.
And this shift aligns nicely with the increasing global emphasis on data privacy regulations that are likely impacting you. Things like GDPR, the right to control your own data, providing explicit consent.
Right, all that stuff.
Those are becoming legal mandates. Blockchain-based identity solutions, at their core, are really designed to support these principles by putting you in control.
Okay, this all sounds good on paper, sounds promising, but based on the sources we've looked at together, who is actually, taking the lead in making this a reality?
Good question.
Are there concrete examples of blockchain-based digital identity being implemented in the real world that you should know about?
Absolutely. We're seeing some really interesting initiatives emerge globally. Let's maybe start with Estonia.
Estonia.
Yeah, based on some of the material you shared, they've really positioned themselves at the forefront of digital identity with their e-Residency program.
Estonia, that small Baltic nation. What's their angle on all of this for someone like you looking in from the outside?
Well, they've essentially offered a government-backed digital identity to individuals worldwide. It's quite remarkable. The numbers are pretty significant. Over 117,000 people from more than 185 countries have become e-residents.
Wow. 117,000.
Yeah. So for you, this demonstrates a real-world application where a digital ID issued by a government allows people to establish and manage companies remotely, access Estonian public services online, handle banking, taxes within the EU.
Hold on, over 31,800 companies established by these e-residents.
That's right.
Okay, so that's not just some small pilot program. That shows significant adoption and a tangible economic impact. It kind of proves that a government can successfully implement a digital identity system for a global user base.
Precisely. It's a really compelling example of how institutional backing can drive successful adoption of digital identity for a wide range of users. It shows it's feasible,
Definitely.
Now, shifting gears a bit to the tech industry, Microsoft has also entered this space with its ION. That stands for Identity Overlay Network.
Microsoft. Okay, that's a major player. What does their involvement signify for the future of blockchain identity for someone like you, maybe using their products already?
Well, what's particularly noteworthy about Microsoft's involvement is the scale and, frankly, the credibility they bring to the concept. ION is a decentralized identity network.
Decentralized.
And it's being integrated into widely used tools like the Microsoft Authenticator app.
Oh, interesting.
And importantly, maybe surprisingly for some, ION actually operates on the Bitcoin blockchain.
Bitcoin. Really? Not their own or something else?
Bitcoin, leveraging its known robust security.
So a tech giant is betting on the security of Bitcoin for digital identity. Are there any practical examples of how ION is being used in the real world? Things that might resonate with your own experiences?
Yes, definitely. There have been real-world trials like verifying university diplomas in Japan.
Okay.
And even NHS staff credentials over in the UK.
NHS staff, wow.
Yeah. So for you, these examples highlight the potential for secure and verifiable digital credentials in really important sectors like education and healthcare areas that likely touch your life directly or indirectly.
Those sound like concrete steps forward in making digital identity more practical. What about initiatives focused on maybe a broader social mission, something aligning with the more humanitarian aspects we've discussed before?
Right, that's where the ID 2020 Alliance comes into play. This is a significant public-private coalition with a really important objective, providing digital identity to the over 1 billion people globally who currently lack any form of official identification.
1 billion people.
1 billion.
Yeah, it's just staggering. A number many of us can't even comprehend, lacking something we take for granted. Who are the key players in this alliance trying to make a difference for these underserved populations?
It's a powerful group. You've got Microsoft again, Accenture, Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance.
Right. Okay.
And various UN agencies as well.
Mm-hmm.
They've launched impactful programs, for example, in countries like Bangladesh, where they're working on linking vaccinations to digital IDs.
Vaccinations linked to digital ID.
Yeah. So for you, this shows how digital identity can be more than just a convenience. It can be a critical tool for accessing essential healthcare and other vital services. Their ultimate goal is helping over 1 billion people gain a formal identity.
That's a powerful application, huge potential global impact there. Now, let's delve into a project that's generated a lot of buzz and perhaps some controversy based on what you've likely encountered. Worldcoin, co-founded by Sam Altman of OpenAI fame.
Yes, Worldcoin.
What should you know about this initiative?
Worldcoin has definitely captured public attention and sparked considerable debate. Their unique approach involves using these orb-shaped scanners.
The orbs, right. Seen pictures.
To scan people's irises, aiming to issue a unique world ID. They've experienced really rapid growth, nearly 7 million signups already, significant financial backing, around $250 million raised.
7 million signups, that's fast.
Very fast. So for you, this represents a highly ambitious, maybe even audacious attempt at creating a universal digital identity using biometric data.
What's the core reasoning behind using iris biometrics, though, for someone considering the implications? Why the eyes?
Well, the fundamental idea is to create a truly unique and universal digital identity that is resistant to duplication or fraud. The thinking is that an iris scan provides a very high level of biometric verification.
Unique to each person.
Exactly. Ensuring that each world ID corresponds to one unique individual. However, as you might have gathered from the discussions around it, this approach has also raised significant privacy concerns that you should definitely be aware of.
Yeah, you can see why. Definitely a project with a lot of potential, but also some serious questions surrounding it. Okay, shifting gears again. We've also seen blockchain identity being adopted in a completely different sector, luxury goods.
Right.
Tell us about the Aura Blockchain Consortium. What does this mean for you as a consumer, maybe?
This is a fascinating example, actually, showing how blockchain identity is extending beyond just individual identification. The OR Consortium was formed by some of the biggest names in luxury. LVMH, Prada, Cartier.
Heavy hitters.
The heavy hitters, exactly. They're using digital identities to track and authenticate their high-end products. So for you as a consumer, this potentially provides a new level of transparency and security when purchasing luxury items.
So it's like a digital certificate of authenticity, something that follows a designer handbag or a premium watch throughout its life cycle.
Precisely.
How does this directly benefit you, though?
Well, over 40 million luxury products have already been tagged with these digital identities, and there are more than 40 brands involved now. For you, this helps combat counterfeiting.
Ah, okay. Big problem there.
Huge problem. Ensuring the authenticity of your purchases. It also provides transparency about the product's journey from raw materials potentially right to your hands.
Traceability.
Traceability. Ethical sourcing. This industry-led adoption aligns with increasing consumer demand for that kind of information, plus regulations, like in the EU, focusing on product provenance.
Okay, so we've seen quite a range of applications. Government-backed IDs, big tech initiatives, social programs, even luxury goods authentication. But based on your understanding of the space, what are the major hurdles, the concerns that still need to be addressed for you and other potential users?
You're right to point out the challenges, because while the potential is significant, there are some critical roadblocks. Regulatory compliance is a major one.
How so?
Just navigating the incredibly diverse legal frameworks around the world, especially those concerning personal data like GDPR in Europe.
Right, the big one.
Which, just to remind you, is the General Data Protection Regulation, setting strict rules about data collection and use. That creates significant complexity for any global blockchain identity system.
That makes perfect sense. A decentralized global system somehow needs to operate within the boundaries of all these national and regional laws.
Tricky.
Very tricky. Then there's the absolutely crucial issue of data privacy for you as an individual. Even in decentralized systems, ensuring your personal data is protected, not misused. That's paramount.
Questions like, who really has access to your verified information? How do you prevent unauthorized surveillance? These need really robust answers and strong technical safeguards.
And I can imagine that getting widespread adoption just among everyday users like yourself is another significant hurdle. It's not always easy to convince people to embrace new technologies, is it? Especially when it involves something as personal as identity.
User adoption is indeed key. For you and other potential users, understanding the benefits, building trust in these new technologies, that's going to require time, education, and frankly, really user-friendly interfaces.
It needs to be easy.
It needs to be easy. People need to clearly see why these systems are better or more secure than the methods they currently use. What's the real value proposition for them?
And we also need to consider the technology itself, right?
Yeah.
Are there still limitations that might impact the widespread use of blockchain for digital identity, things holding it back?
Yes, absolutely. Technological barriers remain. Interoperability is a big one. The ability for different blockchain-based identity systems to seamlessly communicate and work with each other, that's still very much an area under development. Imagine trying to use a digital ID from one platform to access a service on another if the underlying systems aren't compatible.
Yeah, that sounds frustrating. Back to square one, almost.
Exactly. And scalability is another ongoing challenge. These networks need to be able to efficiently handle a huge number of users and transactions as adoption grows without slowing down or becoming too expensive to use.
Right, got it. So looking ahead then, what are some of the key trends in digital identity that you should be aware of? Where's this heading?
Well, for you, one significant trend to watch is the development of reusable identities.
Reusable identities.
Yeah, the concept aims to provide you with a single, secure digital login that can be used across multiple platforms. Think about eliminating that endless cycle of usernames and passwords you currently deal with.
One universal login. Oh man, that sounds like a huge convenience for anyone who's tired of password resets.
Wouldn't it? It's a big goal. We're also likely to see increasing integration with artificial intelligence.
AI, how does that fit in?
AI has the potential to power smarter, real-time, adaptive identity verification, making the process more seamless, perhaps more secure for you, adapting to context.
AI and blockchain working together to manage identity. That sounds like a powerful, maybe even potentially transformative combination.
It could be, absolutely. And the underlying trend of decentralized identity verification, the core idea of putting you in control of your credentials, that's set to continue. You can expect to see more tools, more platforms emerging that empower you to manage your own digital identity.
More user control.
More user control. And finally, keep an eye on government initiatives. Like we saw with Estonia, more countries are definitely exploring, and in some cases, implementing blockchain-based IDs for various citizen services. That trend seems likely to grow.
Okay, so based on everything we've discussed, everything you've explored in your reading, what's our overall perspective? Where do we stand on the current state and future of blockchain-based digital identity?
Well, from our analysis of the material you provided, the potential of blockchain to offer more secure, more user-centric digital identity solutions, it's definitely present. It's real.
Okay.
The examples we've highlighted, from Estonia's e-Residency to the Consortium's luxury goods tracking, they demonstrate tangible progress across really diverse applications. It's not just theory anymore.
There's always a but, right? As always, there are caveats. It's not exactly a straightforward path to widespread adoption, is it?
Exactly. No, it isn't. While the technological advancements and the enthusiasm surrounding blockchain are compelling, we absolutely must approach this with a realistic understanding of the challenges.
Right.
For you and other potential users, navigating that complex regulatory landscape, ensuring robust data privacy and security, achieving broad user adoption, and overcoming those existing technological limitations we talked about, these are all critical steps that need really careful consideration.
So we kind of circle back to the fundamental question we started with, don't we? Are we truly addressing the core issues with digital identity in the modern age? Or are we potentially just adding another layer of technological complexity without fully solving the underlying problems for individuals like yourself?
That's the crucial question you should continue to consider, absolutely. The technology holds significant promise, no doubt, but its ultimate success will depend entirely on how thoughtfully, how ethically, and how inclusively it's implemented, always prioritizing the needs and rights of individuals like you.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive into a complex and rapidly evolving field. It's clear that blockchain-based digital identity has the potential to be transformative for how we interact with the digital world. But there are still significant hurdles, big mountains to climb that need to be overcome for that potential to be fully realized for everyone.
Absolutely. And it's a conversation that will absolutely continue to evolve as the technology matures, as we gain more insights from these real-world implementations and see their actual impact on individuals like you.
So for you, the listener, here's a final thought to consider based on our discussion today. Given these advancements and the remaining challenges, what fundamental shifts do you believe are necessary for digital identity to truly empower individuals without creating new risks or maybe exacerbating existing inequalities?
Good question to ponder.
We encourage you to revisit the initiatives and companies we've discussed today and continue to explore this fascinating and, frankly, really important topic. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.